What's going on, guys? Dustin Hanson here. It is the next day and we are going to get this engine installed today. So I need to go ahead and clean the intake manifold out, run some gas through it and air, and then make sure that thing's super clean, and then basically slap it on the engine. We need to lower this engine down on a spare tire, that way we could put the lower and upper intake manifold on, mount it from the upper intake manifold so we could drop it in. All right, guys, so we got the sides all taped up. That way, if the engine does swing and hit the tubs, it hopefully will protect it a little bit. I got the steering column half shaft in. Hopefully, I could get the engine in with the dump pipes. We'll have to see. I might have to take that off. And we got to see if this heater core line will work with the turbo. I think it's going to be close, but I think we'll be able to slide it under. Sleeve is temp installed down there, and everything else on the firewall is mounted. I went ahead and I made a little, sideways, a little bracket here that holds just a spacer and then a nut in the back. So that's all held nice and tight. All the brake lines are tightened and ready to go. I guess I'm gonna start working on the subframe stuff because they still are not here yet. So thanks, guys. But we painted all the oil cooler brackets. Yeah, so pretty much just waiting. The engine is hung. I have the upper intake manifold on, and the lower, everything is good to go. Literally all we need to do is wire this thing up, and she's ready to rock. I don't think I ever showed you guys this radiator that Nick welded up. So this is what he did. He welded this 16AN line on. He welded in 2 sensor bungs. He did this whole little end tank and welded this on. So this will be a 90 going into my water pump. My water pump will push it into the motor, and then this is from the motor, the hot going in. It'll go down into this little tray, and then it'll be forced to go back up and out. So it's a dual pass. But yeah, he did a super good job. You could see very clean. So, and then he welded these as well, and these are for the mounting points. So looks really good. Gray and Pierce just messaged me. They both just woke up. We're all on mids, so we sleep during the day. So, but they're on their way, so we'll get this thing installed finally. All right, guys, I got some bad news. As you can see, I didn't hit record on installing the engine, so you guys didn't get to see it, but it is in. I just got back from Tomb, it's our hardware store, to get some hardware to mount the electric water pump. But I went to our GK Auto, which is like an AutoZone, and I have some bad news. First bad news is I basically broke their cashier. Germans aren't allowed to modify their car, so when I told them that I needed a custom belt, not for a specific car, I don't think he comprehended or can wrap his head around that this FD is not stock, because they're not allowed to modify their cars. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, so the belt's not gonna be here till Monday, so that's 2 days from now, which means this thing's not gonna be running for another 2 days. But no big deal. We are gonna go ahead and hard mount this electric water pump, because right now it's just hanging out there. And then let's just start bundling up wiring, basically get it fully ready to rock on Monday. That way, once we get that belt, we can start it and drive it. So let's get to it. These were the smallest screws they have. They were, whoa, they're M4s, and they are barely too big. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this little Dremel bit, and we're just gonna hollow these out a little bit more so we can fit these screws in there. Yeah, so this is my little radiator bracket I made. It's just 2 riv nuts that are in the frame, bolts there, and then at the end, and then goes down and mounts to the radiator. 2 tabs. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna grind this down and round it out a little bit so it is nice and smooth because it's kind of close to the tub. So we're just gonna cut a little off and just round it out. Alright, so there she is all mounted up. Just put the one screw in for now, one bolt, but there's where the other one goes, right like that. So, and then here's those tabs right there and there, welded onto the radiator. So now it is nice and sturdy. And then we need to go ahead and continue mocking up where this electric water pump can go. You can see that it's like kind of starting to kink the line the more I pull it that way. So I want to get it as close to the radiator as possible. So we're gonna have to mess around with that. All right guys, so here she is. We got the water pump lines all made up. All I need to do now is mount it to this space, or to this bracket. I think I'm gonna make a new one just because obviously it's so much further off than I planned. Well, let's see there. I don't know, it's not bad, but we're gonna mess around with things. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the intercooler on. That way we could weld little brackets off here, figure that out. And then my buddy Nick can go ahead and weld the intercooler piping. So let's go ahead and throw on this intercooler and see how it looks and fits. Alright guys, so we got the V-mount all mocked up. It's looking pretty good, perfectly centered. So what I did was mounted it here on this slam panel. And then I took some electrical tape and I jammed it in there. And there's the bracket I made for to hold the radiator, right? Basically this will be like a block off for the air, so it'll force the air is hitting a wall right there. And then on top here you can see this is that bracket I made for the radiator. And we're gonna basically make a little L bracket to support the intercooler. That way we don't have this piece of electrical tape here. And then of course, like I said, we'll make like a little wall that we can weld or whatever to make sure all the air is forced through the intercooler and through the radiator. So let's go ahead and make these L brackets up. All right guys, so what I did was I just took this piece of metal here. You can see it's decently thick. It's not really bendable by any means. Ooh, cracked my hands. So I just did an inch on each side. Ignore this is from previous stuff, but just did an inch on each side. I'm gonna cut this with the grinder, and then we'll go ahead and make a 90-degree out of these. That way we can weld them onto that bracket. Alright guys, so we got the bracket all welded up. We're gonna go ahead and chop this excess piece off and we will grind them smooth, and then we're gonna go ahead and get this thing ready for paint. Alright guys, we got her all grinded down. ready for some paint. All the welds are grinding down, everything's looking good. So this just shows that you guys don't need to go buy a $3,000 custom Greddy or whatever V-mount kit there is. You could literally make your own. This is a piece of angle iron. And as long as you guys have a decently cheap, it doesn't even have to be an expensive welder, just a welder, you could literally make a custom V-mount kit. All I did was made this piece and then made this guy. Literally, it's just more angle iron. And it mounts to this, goes across, and this is where my radiator feet are in. And then of course the radiator is going to sit on this, like so. So this pulls up the radiator bolts on right there. It's simple as that. And then, like I said, intercooler sits on there. So all in all, I spent, man, I can't remember, intercooler plus the radiator and then some sheet metal or some angle iron and other metal. But it's super simple. Anyone can do it. It's not hard. For you OEM guys, you have somewhere in here, I think right here, you have these little pieces that are like that. And you could literally weld straight to that, or even just screw in or bolt into that. So anyone can make it, and you could custom make it to fit your car, your hoses, all that stuff. So if I were you guys, I'd save some money, build your own. Of course, might not be as perfect or pretty as that, but you could make it work. And even the Greddy kits, I heard that they need their own fabrication as well. So they're not just fully drop-in kits. You're gonna need to make your own hoses and make intercooler piping, all that stuff. So I don't know. I think it's easier just to make your own. So let's get this thing mounted up and see how it turned out. All right, and there she is. So you can see it's just one roof nut on each side. Dinged right there. Need to scuff that and repaint it. But yeah, intercooler mounts right here and radiators right there. And then of course, like I showed you guys already, you have this piece that loops around and the feet just sit right in there. Just drill holes out and just like that, easy. So you can see everything is super sturdy. It's got the rubber feet for the vibration. So everything is solid. I'm confident I could stand on this. I'm putting all my weight on this right now and it is not going anywhere. So yeah, and this is what it looks like in here. Oh, perfect little V-mount. Like I said before, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slide down in here. Basically just slide a piece of metal. I might do a piece of metal and then tack it, or I don't know, we need to build a box for this, but as of now, I'm not too worried about it. That'll be in the future, later on. So now the V-mount slash radiator intercooler bracket is done. As you can see, I got a lot of stuff here, which, boom, there. So now we got so many things to do. It's just finishing up minor things. Now that I know I can't get this thing running for another 2 days due to that belt on order, I'm pretty much taking my time. So this video is gonna be all over. We're just finishing up minor things, wiring, fuel, all that kind of stuff. So I need to finish up my power block, which is gonna have my alternator, this from the positive on my battery, and then go into my starter. So it's gonna have those three things attached to it. And it basically comes up and it's gonna be on a terminal block. So here's what I was talking about the terminal block. So it's just literally a power distributor. So it's gonna bolt in right there. I'll have my positive wire right here, which will go on there. And then I have two more terminals. One for the starter wire going to the starter, which will be on here as well. And then the other one will be for the alternator. So it'll just be like that. Branch off like that down there. And then obviously this will be screwed down like that. So let's it just like that. The wires going to where they need to go. All right guys, so this video is gonna be kind of all over the place. I'm just basically jumping around, finishing up loose ends. So this video is gonna be all over the place. I will keep updating you guys with what I'm doing now. So here is the oil return line. My buddy, we just cut off the OEM oil return from the twin turbos and we welded on a -10 bung and then just a tube right here and here to extend it out. So let's put this on and that is what it'll look like. And now you can see, let's have a 90 coming off here, going straight up to the turbo. So that'll be perfect. And boom, check it out. So the turbo drain is all done. I got everything mocked up on here. I didn't put a gasket on here yet. I still need to put a bolt in and tighten it down. But you can see I made this line. It's just a straight fitting to a 45 and then right down this tube. So that worked out perfectly. That's all done. We just need to make this line. I need to find my other 45. I have no idea where I put it. Somewhere inside the house, but I need to go through my boxes of stuff and find that. There'll be a 45 there, and then we could dump some coolant in because this is all hooked up now. Still need to make a bracket, but she's getting closer, a lot closer. And we just need to do a couple wires for a couple sensors. They'll be done. We finally got the last water line done. Sheesh. So this will go right here like that. Now I need to take this drain off so I can scrape the old gasket off the bottom of this. It's gonna be a nightmare. I'm gonna scrape that gasket off, then we're gonna go ahead and pull this whole V-mount setup out, and we're gonna paint the bracket we made. So. There you go. So she is all painted up. We will let her dry overnight and then we will install everything tomorrow. So here it is all mounted up. I am tweaking my electric water pump bracket. So the way this thing sits, here's the water lines you can see. Came out really nice. Everything's all snugged up. So the way this thing sits is like that. So what I'm gonna do is, this is how that bracket came out. I'm gonna weld a piece of metal in the shape roughly like this so it kind of flows with the line. Obviously this cardboard needs trimming. But you can see here's the hole for the electric water pump. I'm going to basically do that. So it'll sit like that. And then put just a little L bracket for one screw and weld it like this. So it'll sit like that. So it'll all kind of flow together. But this thing's already pretty snug in there. Obviously, as you can see, all it needs is really just a placeholder. So we're just gonna do one screw here holding it, and that'll make it nice and snug and it won't move around. And then it'll have plenty of clearance room on the back side as well. So that is the plan. So we're gonna go ahead and redesign version 2 of this holder. Got my little piece of metal, it's probably hot. Cut out, all good to go. Make sure you guys wear the proper work shoes like me when you're cutting stuff. Feels really good when sparks hit your feet. But yeah, so we got a piece of metal cut out. Let's go test fit this thing. Everything looks. I was gonna do this high, that the electric water pump this high, that way we could run like a big L bracket and run 2 screws, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't think this intercooler piping is gonna clear it, so we're gonna drop it down a little bit lower so it'll be more like that. That way intercooler piping should have plenty of room to clear it. Yeah, so that's how it's gonna look. So it won't be bad. It'll be nice and tidy. Right, guys, so take 297. So this is what we're doing. I already have this riv nut drilled right there. And this, what we're gonna do is, look at that paint chip. what we're gonna do is basically drill a hole in this so we can put that screw in and then run it like this. And then we will just drill a little hole here. And this is thick enough metal where it's not gonna bend. And that will secure the water pump. Obviously it's hard to do with one hand, but it'll go up like that. So we're gonna do that. That way it saves us from ripping all this stuff back out and welding and all that stuff. So everything's in and tight. So I'd rather keep it that way. That way we're good to go. We can continue pressing with everything else. Here we go, fuel system is all in. I have full function engineering, billet rails with 2000 cc secondaries and 1050X ID primary injectors. They both are injector dynamics. So be pretty good, give us some nice fuel. We just gotta plumb them up to the stock lines for now. I do have -8, these are -6, but we will be going bigger later in the future. But for now, just to get it running and driving, that's what we're gonna stay with, is stock hard lines. So I'm calling it a night. It is 8:30, so it's time to go inside and relax. So we got a lot done on the FD today. We just need to do some minor things. I need to hook up my ignition coils and my water pump. Just gotta wire those around the fender or the wheel well, and we will call it a day. So you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully we'll have that engine running. Peace.